The sun was
Thank you
already
for your
slipping
help.
behind the jagged
Our
red
paths
hills
were meant to
when
cross.
Daniel Cortez
Safe
noticed
travels.
how quiet the house had become. At first, he thought Lila was just hiding in her room with her headphones on, sketching the way she always did when the world felt too loud. But something felt wrong. Too still. Too empty. He called her name once, then again, his voice echoing down the hallway with no answer. A chill crawled up his spine as he pushed open her bedroom door. Her bed was neatly made. Her backpack was gone. The window was open, the thin curtains stirring gently in the evening breeze. Her phone lay face down on the pillow as if deliberately left behind. Lila, he whispered, though he already knew. Panic didn't hit all at once. It came in waves. First confusion, then denial, then the heavy, suffocating realization that his 16-year-old daughter was truly gone. He grabbed his keys and drove the neighborhood streets, headlights cutting through the dusk as he searched every park, every corner store, every place she might have wandered. He called her friends, her teachers, anyone who might have seen her. No one had. By the time he went to the sheriff's office, his hands were shaking. "We'll do everything we can," the deputy said gently. "But sometimes kids just run." Daniel nodded, though every instinct in him screamed that this was different. That night, sleep never came. He sat on the porch with a cold mug of coffee, staring at the empty road as crickets chirped in the darkness. Memories replayed in his mind. Lila's quiet smile, the way she used to laugh before grief stole so much from her, the way she'd grown more distant since her mother died. He wondered what signs he had missed, what words he hadn't said, what pain she'd carried alone. The second day was worse. Silence pressed against him from every direction. No calls, no messages, no sightings. Each passing hour felt like a door closing. Then, early on the third morning, there was a knock. Daniel opened the door without thinking and froze. Lila stood there, thinner, dust on her shoes, eyes tired but steady. Relief hit him so hard his knees almost buckled. But before he could pull her into his arms, he noticed the woman standing beside her. She was tall, with long dark hair streaked with silver, skin weathered like sun-baked earth, eyes deep and unwavering. She held Lila's hand not possessively, but protectively, as if guarding something sacred. Lila looked up at her father, voice soft but certain. "Dad, we'll protect her." Daniel didn't speak for several seconds after they stepped inside. The kitchen felt smaller with the Apache woman in it, not because she took up space, but because her presence seemed to reshape the air. She moved with quiet purpose, sitting at the table as if she had been invited long ago rather than arriving. Unexpectedly on his doorstep, Lila hovered near her, protective in a way Daniel had never seen before. "I'm Naya," the woman said at last. Her voice was calm, steady, like water flowing over stone. "Thank you for letting me enter your home." Daniel nodded, still trying to gather his thoughts. His hands were clenched tightly, his heart still racing from the fear of losing his daughter. "Thank you," he said finally, the words feeling inadequate, "for bringing her back." Lila sat beside Naya and took a slow breath, as though grounding herself. "Dad, I didn't just wander off," she said gently. "I didn't know how to explain it before, but everything felt too heavy. I couldn't breathe in this house anymore. Not because of you, because of everything I never said." Daniel swallowed hard, shame and sorrow rising together. He waited, forcing himself not to interrupt. "I walked for hours," she continued. "I thought if I kept going far enough, the ache would disappear. But it didn't. I got tired. I got scared. And then she found me." Naya's gaze lowered briefly, respectful of the memory. "She was lying beneath the sun like a wilted flower," she said. "I could not leave her." Lila's voice softened. "She gave me water. She stayed with me all night. She didn't ask questions at first. She just listened. Nobody's ever really listened like that before." Daniel felt tears prick his eyes. "For 2 days," Lila went on, "she told me stories about her grandmother, about women who survived loss, violence, loneliness, and still found a way to stand tall. She didn't tell me to be strong. She showed me what strength actually looks like." Naya lifted her eyes to Daniel then, and there was no accusation in them, only honesty. "Your daughter carries deep pain," she said, "but she also carries great light. She only needed to be reminded." Daniel let out a slow, shaky breath. "I thought I was protecting her," he admitted quietly. I didn't realize how much she was fighting alone. Lila reached across the table and took his hand. You don't have to do it alone anymore, she said. Silence settled, but this time it wasn't suffocating. It felt full, like something new had been planted. Daniel studied Naya, this woman who had entered, their lives without warning, and yet seemed to belong in a way he couldn't explain. You said she found you, he said gently. Do you have somewhere to go? Naya paused before answering. I follow where I'm needed, she said simply. For now I am here. Daniel looked at his daughter. He saw strength in her eyes where there had once been only exhaustion, and in that moment he understood something had shifted forever. He nodded slowly. Then, the town noticed the change before Daniel fully understood it himself. Lila no longer shrank into the background when they went to the grocery store or walked past groups of people who used to intimidate her. She met the world with steady eyes and an unspoken confidence, as if something inside her had finally been set up right. Word traveled quickly about the woman staying in the Cortez home, and with it came curiosity, suspicion, and more than a little judgment. People whispered when Naya passed. Some stared too long. Others muttered things they didn't bother to hide. Daniel felt the old protectiveness rise in him, but it was Lila who surprised him most. When a classmate sneered at Naya's long skirts and called her strange, Lila didn't look away like she once would have. She squared her shoulders and said, clearly enough for others to hear, she's not strange. She's the reason I'm still alive. Show some respect. The words hung in the air, and the mockery dissolved into embarrassed silence. At school, teachers began to pull Daniel aside. They told him Lila was participating more, that her grades were improving, that she seemed more present. At home, she laughed again, a sound he had almost forgotten. Sometimes, late in the evenings, he would see her and Naya sitting on the back porch, talking softly under the stars or simply sitting together in comfortable silence, as though silence itself had become something safe. Then one afternoon, a girl named Maribel stood nervously on Daniel's porch. Her eyes were red, her hands trembling. Can I talk to the woman who stays here? She asked in a small voice. Daniel hesitated only a moment before stepping aside. Naya welcomed the girl with the same calm warmth she had offered. Layla. They sat for a long time. After that, others came. Girls who felt invisible. Girls who were grieving. Girls who had nowhere else to go with their pain. Naya never claimed to have answers. She offered something far rarer, attention without judgment, stories that reminded them they were not alone, and a steady belief in their worth. Lila often sat beside her, no longer the one being rescued, but a quiet guardian in her own right. The whispers in town began to change. People spoke less of suspicion and more of gratitude. Parents thanked Daniel in the grocery store. Teachers nodded with newfound respect. Even the sheriff admitted that whatever was happening in that house, it was doing good. One night, Daniel stood on the porch watching a small circle of girls gathered in the yard, listening as Naya spoke softly beneath the glow of the porch light. Lila looked peaceful among them, centered in a way he had never seen before. When she noticed him watching, she walked over and slipped her hand into his. Her voice was gentle but certain. Dad, we'll protect her. This time Daniel finally understood.